about the problems you face in a massive organization of 230,000 people. In one far-flung corner of your empire, I asked an enterprising young man how he got things done so far away from head office, and he said, "I've discovered forgiveness is a lot easier to get than permission." That, as you can imagine, was off the record, and you don't have to take it as gospel. But here on the record are some views about what can be done to solve some of British Telecom's problems, starting with a man who's not shy of controversial opinions, the DGM of Thames Way, Mike Townsend. The BT slogan is, "It's you we answer to." But you can't answer unless you've heard what the customer is saying. Now, who at BT is listening?
That's an interesting question, because in a sense, we're all listening like mad. We've got people in sales offices, we've got people in shops, we've got engineers who are out with the customers every day. So we've got plenty of ears out there, and we're all listening like mad. I think the problem is, what do we hear? Because if you take a customer who rings us up and says, "My phone isn't working, I would like you to put it right," that's what the customer's saying to us. But all too often what we're hearing is, "Oh hell, here's another problem. Oh hell, who's done this? Who's wrong now? Who's to blame for this?"
So how does BT need to change?
If you look into BT at almost any level and at any place, we've got some pretty good people, pretty wonderful people who have got great ideas. One of the things that we've got to change, I suppose, is to liberate all of that talent that there is in there. We want a situation where, whatever the problem is, someone says, "Here, this is my problem, I'll get a team together." And people are prepared to join that team, not because there's a hierarchy that says, "Well, I work for him, so I'm part of his team," but there's a feeling that there's a problem that needs a team to deal with it. I can be a productive part of that team. Let me get in and let me have a go at it. So I think that you need the initiative to call the teams together. You need people to take personal initiative, personal responsibility, to feel personally concerned. Personally, I want to do this. And then when they do that, everybody else responds in a cooperative way so that the team can come together, solve the problem, and then disappear and go away and solve other problems.
As I move around BT, the major problem seems to be about management, and it's usually about management 2 layers up. Who do you complain about?
Well, I can't shift the buck. There's nobody above me, let alone 2 layers up, so I can't shift that. I think it's a feature of all large organizations. There is always them up there, and it's their fault. I don't think it is just a question of management as such. I wouldn't want to undermine the management talent of this organization, because this organization is full of very, very good talent and very loyal and able people, not just managers but staff at large. I think the problem is much more of the task that we've got to undertake. It is a complex task. It does require investment in modern equipment. It does require first-rate computing systems to back it up. And no matter how clever the individual managers or staff are, if they don't have that, then it's extremely difficult to deliver the goods. And that, as I said earlier, is a hard task. It's a graft task over some years to get it right. We've made some very good steps down that road, but we're not there yet.
Alfie Kane, DGM of Manchester, believes that there's a good reason for staff to get angry at times.
If for whatever reason something is going wrong in the company, something's not being done right, the anger itself of our employees, to me, is a clear demonstration that they care how this company is managed, they care about its future, and to me, that is one of the greatest hopes for the future.
Moving from a basic analog technology into a digital world, moving from old-fashioned copper cables into optical fibers, seeing more international business than has ever been there before. You see, the way in which telecommunications used to be organized throughout the world was that virtually every country had its own, usually publicly owned telephone system, and those linked up. And now we're seeing the globalization of telecommunications markets, and those old national boundaries are breaking down. And that is a major change, a huge change in the structure of our markets that we've got to accommodate.
Tony Booth, Managing Director of BTI, gave me his view on the challenge of competing internationally.
The main challenge is one of facing change. We've always been facing change in terms of international communications. We've always prided ourselves on being one of the best. Now we want to be the best. We, for example, can connect to, I think it's 186 countries by international direct dialing. That is more than ATT can. It's also more than KDD in Japan can. So we already have a wide reach, but our customers are getting more global. They're getting more demanding. And so we're finding it a great challenge to make sure that as the world changes, we keep up with the marketplace. If I look, for example, at regulatory changes, it's changing here, competition's coming, liberalization has been here a long time. It's coming in Europe. We know that the American scene is very different. And Japan is changing very dramatically. So there's a whole panoply of change right across the globe. And our intention is to be the #1 international player.
In a few weeks' time, I'll be taking Whicker's World Down Under to Sydney. So I've come behind the scenes here to one of London's largest travel agencies, and I'm going to ask for details on direct flights to Sydney on December the 5th. And there they are. The Qantas flights first, then British Airways. And the information comes direct from a computer in Australia. It comes on a lease line, probably supplied by BTI, but the point is, it needn't necessarily be British Telecom. It'll be whoever offers the best deal, the best price, the most convenient package, whatever. BTI compete for virtually every bit of business. Soon, nearly every part of British Telecom will be competing with other companies for the business it's got and for the business other people have got. In other words, it's the customers who are deciding the future of British Telecom. Mike Bett, managing director of BT UK, didn't agree with my suspicion that BT felt the customers were merely interrupting the smooth running of their business.
Well, first of all, we never used to have customers, you know. We used to have subscribers, and you were lucky to subscribe. Now we have customers and we have competitors. And when you've had 100% of the business, as we did as a monopoly, for so long, decades, and then along come other businesses and they start taking work away from you, and your staff can actually see that happening, you don't have to tell them about customers because customers are out there making choices.
It's a little bit like the BBC and ITV, isn't it? And of course, in the old days, before you decided to go straight, you were in the BBC.
I was in the BBC, and I can tell you that it took the BBC a lot longer to get used to competition than it's taking BT to.
Travelling around the world as I do, I find British Airways, which used not to be very good, is now one of the best airlines in the world, certainly far better than most of the American airlines. Is there some sort of parallel between what's happened at BA and what you're hoping will happen at BT?
I think there are some parallels. I think that one of the things that's impressed me in a very big way with British Airways was the way that they set about training their staff to put the customer first. And that has been very successful. And with our customer-facing staff, that's exactly the same thing that we are doing. Of course, it's different because we have a different order of magnitude of staff. I don't know quite what British Airways is. I guess it's about 30,000. We have about 230,000, so it's a different kind of problem. By far, our single greatest asset are the 230,000 people who work in BT. And it's making the most of that asset, of trying to make sure that they can fulfill what are their undoubted talents that the total quality management is about. And the way in which we manage, what our values are, how we treat each other, that too is a key part of total quality management.
David Day, Managing Director of CSD.
And the CSD was brought together because we recognized that we had to bring together the skills in telecommunications and organize them the way the customers wanted them organized, into specific business units, each of which brought special communication services or products to our customers. But let me emphasize, if I may, Alan, that the organization is transitory. Organizations have to change to meet the needs of the marketplace, to recognize competition, to recognize changes in technology. And undoubtedly, we will continue to change the organization. We're all working for British Telecom. BT UK will change its shape and its structure and its offerings. CSD will change its shape and its structure and its offerings. 2 to 3 years from now, you won't recognize the organization. If it is the same, then we will have failed. So we should look forward very positively to change in organization.
BT's future in, I think, the 1990s and into the next century is going to be a really fascinating one. If you look at our main international network, for example, that's as good as the best of the North American ones. If you look at our long-distance network within the UK, that's the new digital network, then that's the most advanced in the world. And I think that in a lot of areas we can claim to be extremely good. I think within the UK that we can provide a modern telecommunications network which is second to none in world terms, and that's what we've got to aim for. If you don't aim for being top of the first division, then you end up in the amateur league. And we're well positioned to do that. We have the technology, we have the finances to do it, and we have the staff and the management determination to do it. So we're going to do that.
I was asked to take a look at British Telecom and how it compared with the rest and the best of the world. It's been a revealing and a stimulating tour for me, and I won't say I don't have any reservations left. But I do believe your company is well on its way to achieving Ian Valance's goal. In 4 or 5 years from now, it's hard to predict the exact timescale, but within a few years, I suspect